Hello artists, this is Miss Flavia with Little Blank Canvas. We have a great project to get to today. We're celebrating International Dot Day, started on September 15th, and we're doing a series of videos with projects to not only get you to create something, but I want you to exercise your creativity. I want you to put your mark on the paper, okay? So for today, I have the book here, just getting kind of inspired by what's inside. We're gonna need a piece of paper. I recommend having a little thicker paper, something a little bit heavier, because we're gonna use watercolor. And for watercolor, we're gonna need water. So don't use like a copy paper, try to have something that's a little bit thicker. Then, of course, we need watercolor. It doesn't have to look like mine. Any kind of pan of watercolor, even liquid watercolor would be good. Then you need a paper towel, 1 sheet, 2 sheets. I have just one here, a cup of some water, really don't need much. And I have 2 types of brushes. Your brushes don't have to look like mine. I have a bigger one that holds a lot of water and paint. Then I have another one that it's a little bit smaller. But if you have the ones that are flat, the ones that are way bigger with tiny little ones, that's good as well. Your work doesn't have to look like mine. And then to add some different elements and help you think of new ideas, I have some different supplies. They actually work really well with watercolor. I have permanent markers in black and in white. And I have color pencils in black and white only. So I'm gonna let the watercolor splash all the different colors, and then the pencils or pens and pens would help us just add some little details if we feel like we need it. So you guys are ready? I'm gonna switch my camera so you guys will be able to see my hands, and I'm gonna be doing things on my paper just to get you to see what my process is. But I want you guys to find your own way. I want you to create something that makes you happy, that gets you excited, or something completely random, like I'm gonna dip this into this color and you don't have to even think about it. So I'm gonna open my palette. I want this to be really colorful, and I'm gonna follow, I guess, the rainbow order, maybe. So the first thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you have water in your cup. See, I don't have, like, it's not filled all the way up. You have to have an open mind, a good attitude, put your 2 feet on the ground, sit straight. And then you're gonna let that creativity flow through you. Creativity flowing through you, it flows in your body, through your body, all the way to the fingertips. Okay, so as we're talking about dots and simple things to leave your mark and see where it takes you, my suggestion to you today, pick whatever brushes, is that we're going to start having dots made on our paper with watercolor. And we're going to try some different things. I want you guys to experience a variety of ideas. So the first one is we're going to wet the brush, make sure that it's wet enough. We're going to make a little puddle. So I'm going to bring a little bit closer to the camera so you see how I'm doing this. I just go for the water, bring a little dot of water and make my little puddle over here. You really need to be kind with your brush. Treat your art supplies with respect. It's almost like you're patting, you're brushing the watercolor. And once you have like this soupy kind of color here, I want you to just make a dot. Simple, right? The dot is right there, nothing else going on. How about I go around that and leave a little blank space right in the middle? Could be a good idea. I'm going to leave there now. Now I'm going to rinse my brush. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to have water on my brush, nothing else. Let's see, I'm going to drop a little bit of water right in the middle here. I'm just touching my brush on the blank space. Look what happened. The watercolor started to come together and connect with the water. So there was no more blank space, even though I only used water, and I have some watercolors still kind of flowing here. And it gets inside of that bubble that we created with the watercolor first. So it's gonna take a good amount of effort to get this puddle to move. Isn't that interesting? I know. Okay, so that was my first experimentation, my first try with a dot using my brush. Now I'm gonna move to my bigger brush. This one holds a lot of water because it's bigger, it's round, so the water gets really inside in here and stays. I'm gonna wet my paper, and this is what we call the wet on wet technique. I'm gonna do a little circle here and fill in with some water. I'm gonna go through the same process we did before. I'm gonna find a color. Let's get this orange here because I'm following the rainbow order just because. Making my little soupy, getting like this muddy, beautiful mixture. And now the same way I did with my red over here, I'm gonna find where my puddle is. I'm gonna do a little dot. Look what happened. What is happening? Just because the surface was different, this was dry when we applied the watercolor, and this one is wet when we apply the watercolor expanded. Look how beautiful. Look at that design. It was just one dot. Maybe we can try to go around. Look at this. The water is drying. The paper is drying on the little puddle we put it there first, and you can see how it gets and it stays where the water was. When I use my brush with water, I had a little circle. It doesn't get outside of that circle. See, isn't it very interesting? It creates a little barrier over here. Let's see how we can make the third exploration. I'm gonna go with yellow. And I think this time I'm gonna keep it dry. I'm not gonna wet the paper first. The only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move to my really big brush and make my little puddle here. Let me see, I need to have enough water to make this work. Okay. And now what I'm gonna do, maybe I'm gonna do a dot. Yeah, so it stays because the paper is not watered, so it's still wet. I think I'm gonna give a little inclination here to my paper. I'm gonna put it in an angle. And I'm gonna touch on the dot that I put it there with yellow, and I'm gonna bring the dot for a walk. How about I go down and I bring it down. Nice, look how cool that is. And I still have a little dot in here. This yellow is really hard to see through the camera, right? So I'm gonna just keep walking with this yellow. Maybe I go up and down and turn this puddle into a circle. I'm gonna try not to touch on that other color. See, the color touched slightly and it started to contaminate my yellow. It came inside. Isn't that fascinating? And because this paper is not really thick, it's a mixed media paper, it's not a watercolor paper, you see that it's making some wrinkles over here. But I really like that pattern. I love these happy accidents, and Bob Ross, right? But I love these happy moments, these little oops that can give me so much more inspiration because I didn't plan for this, but I can take this and take that idea and expand it a little bit more. Okay, so let me see now for the next color is going to be green. I'm going to get my small brush. I'm going to get this. Let me see. Make this little puddle. Make sure that I'm really mixing to bring the water to connect with the paint. Okay, I think I got it. This time it's going to be dry. Let me see. Maybe I'm going to do some dots. Creating a little circle with dots, even inside. I'm not going to make them connect. I'm just going to leave them there. So they have a little bit of separation between them and just random creating some dots. Look at these patterns. Isn't that very interesting? I absolutely love this. And I'm gonna rinse my brush again. Now I'm gonna move to my next color. And I think on this one, I'm gonna go for the same small brush. I'm gonna go for the big brush. Okay. I'm gonna just make sure that the brush is clean, and we're going for blue. If we're following the order of the rainbow, that's gonna be my next color. Making a little puddle. This time, I'm gonna make something we call, I mean, it's not we call, it's something that is the positive and negative. We have been doing the circles and filling in with color. This time, I'm gonna make a circle by completing and coloring the outside. So the circle is actually gonna be blank, and everything's gonna start with a dot anyway. So here we go. I'm gonna paint the outside. I'm using my brush, keeping that motion. I'm gonna try not to touch on any other colors. So by painting the outside, I made a circle that is actually blank, but now I see the circle. So different possibilities. Now I think we can go back to doing wet on wet, like making sure that we have water on the paper before, because we tried a lot of the dry ones. So now I think we can go for the wet on wet. And how about the wet on wet? We do the same, like little donut, just like the other video we did, the other project we did. I'm gonna go for the big brush. I'm gonna bring water to my purple. That's gonna be my last color. Bring it here. And this time, oh, I forgot, you know what? I forgot that we need to wet the paper first. So let's go. Really rinse my brush, make sure it's clean, I'm gonna get enough water, and I'll make sure that I complete everything, even inside of it. It doesn't need to have like a lot of water. And now I'm gonna go for the purple. I'm gonna try to do the same donut shape, like painting the outside. Let's see if it's possible. And have a little drop of paint over there. But look, it is possible. The only thing that's starting to happen is that the water is expanding inside of the little donut, the little hole. This one stayed there, wasn't even moving. So I wonder if maybe give a little time, how things are going to show, how things are going to change. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to see if we can use some of these markers or color pencils. But because we used a lot of water, we're going to need to let this dry before we take it even further, before we change some of the stuff and add some more elements, okay? So what we need to do is be patient, wait a little bit. You can get a hair dryer, blow dry, and just dry it. Get an adult, get somebody to help you with this. You don't want to burn the paper, you don't want to burn your hands. So dry the paper up. When the paper is completely dried, colors are not wet anymore, then we're going to come back and use color pencils or permanent markers to help us with some of the other ideas, okay? So I'll be back when the paper is all dried up. So I know you guys saw that I was using a blow dryer, so just to dry up. This is a very simple one I keep for all of my artsy adventures. It does get hot, so maybe having an adult helping you in the beginning would be really, really good. So now that the paper is completely dry, I have a little puddle over here, but I think, let me see. Yeah, it's pretty much dry. Everything is ready for my little details. And what I want to what I want to do with you guys is that I want you to just put whatever mark on your paper. You don't have to copy what I'm doing, but you're welcome to do exactly how I'm doing too. So I want you to start developing your own way of doing things, find your ideas. And once you have one idea, you have a second one and a third one. And actually you just need to start to get everything out, or not everything because it's impossible, but you get to start putting things outside. And the more you do it, the better you get at this. So I'm gonna get maybe my black Sharpie, a little bit thicker dot, and I'm gonna look for simple designs. How about I do that? Maybe inside of this one, I can do dots. Since we're talking about dots, leaving my mark over here, dot, dot, dot away. Maybe the borders too, I can follow along. Maybe you want to look at something, you want to turn this into something else. Maybe this could be a bug or a little animal. I'm going to turn this into a face. So let's see. I'm going to do a little, just simple eye. Need eyebrow, eyelids. I'm going to do stylized nose, a little side mouth, so kind of a curious kind of face. Ears, so you can listen to the sounds of nature. Let's see, maybe we have some here coming. No. Maybe we have a little bow tie. So many possibilities. I'm closing in here. For this one, I think some of them, they look like little hearts. I'm gonna get my, that's what I'm gonna do with the black, but the point is a little bit thinner. So anyway, I'm just gonna experiment and see. This one is too. See if I get, aha, that's the one I want. So I'm gonna turn them into hearts. I'm running out of ink. Let me find. So you need to make sure that the paper is really completely dry for you to do this without damaging your beautiful pen. I'm going to keep it inside the shape of that circle. Okay. Maybe I go for my white pen now. And inside the hearts, I can do some little lines. I'm just letting my intuition, my imagination guide me. And I like being guided by, oh, look how cool it looks. It has a little elevation over here. It looks like it's a rounded shape. I mean, it's a rounded shape here, but it's like a 3D shape. For this one, I think I can go in making, this one's too small. Let's see if this one is going to work. And like connect the dot. Aha. And I'm going to do the outside ones connecting, creating a little border. And then I'm going to have them being connected, just random, like whatever my hand will move and how my hand will move, but they need to be connected to each other. Little net. Using straight lines. You don't have to, but I am. Look how cool that object turned into. I love it. And the last one I'm going to do here on this red, maybe I can do, there's so many possibilities. I can turn this into a snail. How about that? Spiral. And then here I have a little snail. Funny things, interesting things. So there's so many different possibilities, and I'm really curious to see what you guys are doing. I put my name over here. If you want to put the date too, just say maybe International Dot Day experience. And I really want to see what you guys are doing. I would love to get like a picture. If you guys can send it to littleblankcanvas@gmail.com. You can send it in our group discussion. If you're watching on YouTube, you can also hashtag Little Blank Canvas when you post it on social media. I want you to share your creativity with the world and inspire more kids, more families, more people to create, to leave a mark, to make a mark, to just start with something and see where it takes you. So thank you guys for being here with me, and I'll see you in our next video. Thank you, everybody.